Rain pelted the cold city streets, blurring the neon lights into smudges of gold and red. On the steps of an old grocery store, a woman crouched in the shadows, her thin coat soaked through, arms wrapped protectively around a bundle of faded blankets. When the police officer's voice cut through the night, "Ma'am, you can't stay here. Social services will take the child, Her cry pierced the air like glass shattering. Please, please don't take my baby. From across the street, Daniel Carter, a man whose name graced the covers of business magazines, froze mid-step. In that single moment, the world's noise dimmed, and only her trembling voice remained. He didn't know it yet, but that night would change both their lives forever. Daniel Carter wasn't used to stopping. Every second of his life was scheduled: meetings, deals, dinners with investors. Tonight was supposed to be no different. He had just left a late corporate event, his black coat shielding him from the rain as he walked toward his driver's car. But then he heard it. Not just the words, but the desperation behind them. On the dimly lit steps of the grocery store, he saw her. She couldn't have been more than 26. Her hair was plastered to her face, her cheeks flushed from cold. The child in her arms, a girl of maybe 2 years old, whimpered softly. The officer's stance was firm, but Daniel could see hesitation in his eyes. "Ma'am, you can't keep her out here like this," the officer said gently. "She's all I have," the woman's voice cracked. "Please, I'm trying. I just lost my job. Her sentence dissolved into sobs. Daniel stepped forward before he could think. "What's going on here?" His voice was calm, but carried the weight of someone used to being heard. The officer recognized him instantly. "Mr. Carter, this woman has been here for hours. It's freezing. She says she has no home. I have to call child protection." The woman tightened her hold on the child. Her eyes, wide with fear, met Daniel's. They weren't the eyes of someone careless. They were the eyes of someone desperate, cornered by life. Daniel took a slow breath. He didn't know this woman. He didn't know her story. But something in her trembling voice and that little girl's frightened face struck a part of him he had buried for years, the part that remembered being a scared child himself, after losing his mother. "How about," Daniel said carefully, "we find another way?" Within the hour, they were seated in a small 24-hour diner. The woman's name was Emily. She had been working 2 jobs until a sudden illness and medical bills left her with nothing. The child, Sophie, was her world. Daniel listened, and for once in his life, he didn't think about the clock. He only thought about how fragile the human heart could be, and how easily it could be crushed if no one stepped in. Before they parted that night, Daniel quietly slipped an envelope into Emily's hand. "This will cover rent for a few months. I'll have my assistant connect you with a job lead tomorrow. Take care of Sophie. She deserves warmth." Emily's tears fell freely. Why are you doing this?" Daniel's voice was quiet. "Because someone once did it for me." 6 months passed. Emily now had a small apartment, a steady job at one of Daniel's companies, and Sophie was enrolled in a nearby daycare. The transformation was slow, but each day felt like a victory. Daniel checked in occasionally, sometimes sending flowers for Sophie's birthday, sometimes just calling to ask if they needed anything. Emily was rebuilding her life piece by piece, and she often wondered if she would ever be able to repay him. Then one spring afternoon, the chance came unexpectedly. Daniel had been rushing to an important meeting when he collapsed in the lobby of his office building. The paramedics said it was exhaustion and dangerously high stress levels. He woke in the hospital to the sound of a soft voice reading aloud. "Emily, I heard you were here," she said, setting the book aside. "You didn't have to save me that night, but you did. Now I'm staying until you're strong enough to leave." And she did. For the next 2 weeks, she brought homemade soup, sat by his bedside, and reminded him to rest. Sophie's laughter in the hospital room brought a light Daniel hadn't felt in years. One evening, as they watched Sophie draw flowers on the whiteboard, Daniel turned to Emily. "I thought I was helping you that night. But maybe I was saving myself too." Emily smiled softly. "That's the thing about kindness. It never stops with one person. It always finds its way back." Moral of the story: a single act of compassion can ripple through lives, returning to the giver in ways they never expect, and often when they need it most.